let's take a step back. We were talking earlier about the Spindle Sect
Mm.
and how that came about, and the jam sessions, or which I believe was we were under correction there. People,
Yeah, actually, I made a mistake earlier. It's the jam sessions. They actually used to do the jam sessions at Mercury Lounge, but it was called 206 still then, or what?
it's possible. I don't know.
Yeah, we've just
I'm
received
not-
confirmation from my friend Sean Vinant.
Who's old enough to remember?
In fact, he played a big role too, that man standing there by the bar. Because I was, besides playing the wrong music at the bar, I was also extremely antisocial. And I would sit to the side of the bar and I would write the whole day. And Sean actually used to be my ears. I used to be like, yo, Sean, I've written a story. Come over. And then Sean would sit there with his dungarees and his cup of coffee. And he was still chain smoking back then. And he'd listen and he'd be like, it's dark. It's good. No, you should carry on. So he was very encouraging. Thanks, Sean.
Tell us about the. You also have I know that you have another funny story about the Spindle Sect's first gig.
That was very funny. I had a VW Combi back in the day that I actually inherited from my mother.
It's true that everybody inherits a VW.
Yes, yeah. I remember the days. You know that song, that guy. So yes, for our first gig, I think it was our first gig, we decided to go all out, and we had these Hessian like leopard kind of cloaks. I had my face painted like a geisha, and the guys looked like demons. They had makeup everywhere. And we played our gig, and we were just on such a high, and we're driving. When you turn left into Orange Street by the top of Long Street, and it becomes kind of 2 lanes. And I drove around the corner, but I kind of skidded against a guy on the side, this stranger, obviously. And now you can imagine him kind of, his face, and I forgot that I had this shit on my face. So I get out of the van like this, and I'm like, oh, I'm so terribly sorry. And he was, I don't know, maybe he thought I was cute because he didn't ask any questions, he didn't give me any trouble. He was so cool. In fact, I think he paid for my damage. So, I don't know, maybe he likes geishas.
It could have been the demons in the back of your car, though.
Yeah, it could have been. I think, maybe. But that was funny. Yeah.
Spindle Sect, though, happened, if I remember correctly. Spindle Sect was one of those bands that were almost regenerating the music scene. Because I remember after what was called the SA Music Explosion, Miles will remember this, of the mid to late 90s, music in general, South African music and live music in general in Cape Town seemed to go through this terrible depression. There was nothing going on anywhere. Nobody was doing anything.
1934.
Yeah, something like that. Again, Sean will be old enough to remember that. But, and then, suddenly there was this new generation of bands, and I remember Spindle Sect was kind of one of them. Spindle Sect I saw for the first time at the Jam or at Mercury, and it was one of those first bands that I remember on their debut show there actually drawing a crowd that came out of nowhere. You think it was ahead of its time?
I think so. I mean, it was sci-fi hip-hop, yo. We were talking about nebulas and black holes and that kind of stuff. It was actually, I think it might have been BPM, no, beats per minute, yeah, BPM magazine. And the one guy said, yeah, it sounds like a bunch of rocket scientists smoking a lot of weed and writing about whatever. It was just really, it was out there. And we'd have 4 like really long verses, and then like this weird chorus. So it was fun.
And then it got weirder because then you met, you met Humanizer, didn't you?
Yes.
After that, yeah.
So now during this whole Spindle Sect thing, then obviously that's that's part of the gig, excuse the pun, is that you have to grow and expand and, you know, add a few more things to the cart. And so then obviously I gained more confidence, and my taste, obviously I was able to kind of decide for myself more where I wanted to go. So I had this idea in my head that I spent a lot of time visualizing. I still remember very clearly writing down the name and writing down ideas for songs or lyrics and stuff like that. And I had a very clear idea of what I wanted. But I was looking for a producer. And then when they had the Red Bull Music Academy in Cape Town, they had the Red Bull radio. You guys might remember that. And I heard Humanizer's music, and I actually had this shitty little tape deck, and I actually recorded a couple of the songs. I think the song that I listened to was like great, I can't remember the song called, but anyway. And then we played, as Spindle said, we played the suburban parties. Yeah, that was a pretty cool little online magazine. And he was playing, and I sat in a tree, and I was like, I like this. And then I knew someone that knew him, and then I phoned her, and Dom Gavlovsky. And we met up, and he said, yeah, well, why don't you come over on Sunday? And we wrote Black Swan, that song Black Swan, and we had Chinese food. And I remember he had a styrofoam vocal booth in his bedroom with dog blankets over it. Dog blankets, those very depressing dog blankets. The 1934 blanket, and we came up with a song, and we didn't plan to really, I don't know, I don't think I had like a band in mind. I more had like a partner in mind, you know. And then we kind of looked at each other, and we were like, shit, okay, this is pretty cool. And then we would play it to a couple of our friends, and then
next thing you know, to this day.
bam.
To this day, and even strangely, when we announced this event on Rolling-Stone.co.za, there was somebody that commented, "You've got to ask her about Petrovsky and Brunt."
Oh, yes.
Because to this day, there are people that loved what was going on there. What was that about?
That happened pretty much after Lark kind of split up, I suppose, if you can call it that. And as you could imagine, I was extremely frustrated. And because I'm not a trained instrumentalist, I had to basically teach myself how to produce noises and sounds. I mean, so I got a keyboard, and I was doing acting then. I did a lot of commercials, so I had some money. So I got this Roland Phantom X6, I think, at the time. And I just started writing stuff on the piano, and because I have a really good ear, I could kind of hear what would work if I got the right people to play what I came up with. And then I worked with Adrian Brand, on a Levi's job, actually, that Theo produced. And it was Theo Kraus, master. And so I knew Adrian. And then I thought, Adrian, yeah, he's pretty fucking good. And I contacted Adrian, and then he told me, hey, I've got this crazy friend, Marko Petrovsky. I mean, the name. It's okay.
Marko Petrovsky.
Marko. And Marko turns out a genius. And he's like, I'm going to invite him to one of the jams. He can play bass. And that's exactly what happened. And it basically just molded into this kind of dark pop. I called it macabre. Macabre. And because they're both professional musicians, after a while, I was like, I can't expect them to play shitty little gigs, you know. And it eventually just became too expensive time-wise, and also I just lost confidence. Like I was going through a bit of a weird phase, and I just felt, I just kind of had a bit of a defeatist moment there. And then And then the Lark thing happened again. I stayed in contact with Paul, of course, and we started writing it to each other, and it turned out we both really missed working together. And then we just decided around August 2010, let's do it. And that's when we started writing together. Yeah.
And that's the new album right now.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, Piotrowski Brandt, Lark, and all that kind of thing, and the solo stuff in between, which you've said yourself is lots more eclectic and that kind of thing. But then there's this thing, and I wanted to ask you about this. What kind of beast is this thing? Because that's a new project. And how does that come about? Because that's completely in a different direction again for you.
That's also a really cool story, actually. So I twirl my hair. I actually said it felt like I was cheating on a boyfriend when I started with Beast. You know. Beast. Okay, so this is also quite a long story. Stop me at any time. Louis Nel, Rian Zietsman, went to Hippeland, went to Jan van Riebeeck Primary School, and went to Jan van Riebeeck High School. And he lived about 3 blocks up the road from me. So I've known that boy for a long time.
It's a Hippeland cartel, obviously.
The Hippeland cartel, yeah. Belleville's like so last season. And with thugs. And Louis, I met as a skinny little stan at 6 and I was stan at 8. And for some weird reason, we were just drawn to each other. I was like, that's such a cool little kid. And his friends used to tease him. And my friends used to be like, why are you talking to the son at 6? And I was like, he's totally cute and he's fucking cool. So I've known him for many years. And they started bands at like the age of 14. They had Plank and they had 206. They were always together. They joined by the hip. And obviously with Taxi Violence and the Spindlesegg and Lark and all that stuff, so we've been together in the same scene for years, but we never played together. And then I think kind of right about Synergy, when I did a song with Taxi Violence, the boys said to me, hey, we're working on this idea, but you need to give us a few months. But they didn't want to tell me what was going on. They're like, we've got this idea, and they said something about a bass guitar, but I was kind of half listening. And then one day I got a phone call from Louis saying, okay, well, we've recorded a rough jam, so do you want to listen to it? Because also, around the same time, I said to them, fuck, man, I want to be in a metal band. I just wanted to make hard music because that's what I listened to. You know what I mean? I was kind of frustrated. And then they said, well, I think you're going to like this. And they approached Sasha Regini from the Plastics, who played drums. And then I listened to the demo. And I went to Kill City Blues Studios. And we started jamming. And that's what happened. And I love the project because it's... the sound is exactly what I like to listen to. It's got a little bit of everything. It's kind of the way I felt the first time I heard a UK band that actually broke up. A UK band called the 80s Matchbox Beeline Disaster. Amazing. And I had the same feeling. It's like they combining all the correct elements. And also the added bonus of it being 2 bass guitars. And I don't know if anyone's really done that. I don't know, I could be wrong. But so they put careful thought into that. Rian plays the very thick, heavy rhythm bass. Rhythm bass, it's kind of like saying bass. And Louis plays the lead bass through a guitar amp. And then Rian's on the fat, stack, satanic brown note bass amp. And I can tell you it's really opened an entirely different sector of my songwriting brain. Because I really like grunge. So it's kind of like the ideas that I take to them is like kind of just 90s grunge meets 70s rock. It's kind of like between, there's like a Aussie and a grunge dude in there.
This might be a slightly awkward question because I'm not quite sure how to phrase it. I suppose it applies to all your bands, but in particular I'm asking this about Beast. There's a perception, or at least I perceive, that there can sometimes be a lot of resistance to a woman fronting a rock band, a hard rock band in South Africa. But let's discount just the hard rock. Let's say any band, you know, the instances of strong lead vocalist women in music in the country, it's really quite low percentage-wise. How do you handle, well, firstly, do you get any stick for that? Walking into an area that's, let's face it, quite male-dominated. And then if you do, how do you handle stuff like that for yourself?
Well, I think to answer the question, I need to first explain how I see myself before I start telling you how I see myself within the
context. Yeah.
Within the context is that with a project like Beast, I don't necessarily see myself as male, as female. I kind of see myself as a it. No, I'm not a hermaphrodite, but I don't see it as a. I don't see myself. I don't see the sound as like gender orientated at all. It's like I feel like the energy that I employ on stage, and that goes for voice and movement and the whole thing. It has to serve a purpose and it has to serve the project. So I don't see it as like a girl, like a chick rocker girl standing on stage, because that won't serve the project. So I kind of try and have like project quite a like a alpha outlook on it, because I need to do what's best for the team, and that's how I see it. So I don't see it as me having tits and then standing on stage. I don't do that. And the same with Lark. Like with Lark, it's not all light and it's not all dark. It's like grey, and I'm a firm believer in grey. So I suppose I find those little in-between bits to, you know, serve the sound best, whichever project it is that I'm in.
And is the key for yourself that the key to your success, in your opinion, anyway, with these projects, does it lie in the fact that they're so varied and so different from each other? Is that just something you
That's
do?
my path, because that's what I've had to do, because as a vocalist, like I said, I won't call myself, I can't call myself a trained actor, I can't call myself a trained instrumentalist, but I can damn sure call myself a vocalist. And so I have to use use variation. That's the only way I'm going to grow. That's what I have to do. So for me to do the same thing it's going to bonsai me.
Blood of God is thick the devil